Howdy folks, Scott Grove, Dr. Groovy, Groovy Music Lesson here with series, season 2, episode 2 of Ask Scott Grove Anything. Today, before we get started, actually I'll get started with somebody's comment, say a few things, and then finish reading. How's that? You're like, okay, whatever. The last thing somebody had asked me what my favorite piece of Kiss memorabilia was. Anyway, so today I'm starting with right above that, which is going out to Elmo B. I see him all the time on here. Thanks for always hanging around. He just simply asks, why are there so many dumb motherfuckers out there? Well, that's easy. Because they're human beings, okay, and they listen to each other. That's basically it. You know, you get people in a position of power of any kind, and whatever they say, people will believe them. You know, no matter how false anything is, people will believe them just because they don't know something. So that's all it is. It's just too many people are followers, and there's not enough free-thinking leaders to get them through the day. I actually went to, just for fun, here in Mesquite and in Cedar City, Utah, at the schools, and talked to the band director and some other grown-ups there, and then in the over here at the theater where they do performing arts here in Mesquite, and they have the Mesquite local orchestra, and talked to everybody, and I told them about the whole tone woods thing, and then the neck or the fingerboard polishing and cleaning and oiling, and everybody said the same thing. Now you got to consider these people are playing violins, cellos, double basses, violas, whatever, but keep that in mind, okay? They're all made of wood. The majority of those are going to be ebony fingerboards, which doesn't matter, it's still just wood. But here comes the thing. Every single person in each place, as far as cleaning your fretboards, what to clean it with, yes, strictly water, nothing else. They freak out, especially if you do even like an alcohol swab or something, because you drip any of that on your, one of those instruments, and your finish comes off that quick. And they stated everyone that I asked about, fingerboard oils, we just laughed, and everybody again, because I know these things, and I'm just asking them again just to get a reaction from them. I told them about the oils, and they're like, everybody said, how was it stated that was so funny? Oh, people get stupid when they put frets on a fingerboard. So they get dumber. Oh no, people's IQ levels drop as soon as they have frets put on their fingerboard. That's how it went. Their IQ levels drop when you put frets on a fingerboard. It's still a fingerboard. Treat it as such. Water only. From everybody. Okay? And then also, if you get on, I might find the links again, but it's so easy to find. There was a huge study done on the world's most prominent and celebrated and admired classical violinists, and they were brought together from all over the world, and they all brought their Stradivarius violins with them, and their very finest instruments. They were all put through a few days of testing, listening. They were blindfolded through all of this. They brought all their instruments in. Okay, so you've got all these people with all these $1 million+ or some of them just $500,000 instruments from 800 years ago or whatever, And then they brought in a bunch of crappy violins, like my little Silver Creek violin, or these little Lauren violins that you can buy for $79 in pink or blue or sparkly champagne color or what have you, or $200 and $300 violins like this crap over here. They brought those instruments in too, and took out the stickers and anything that would identify them as being less than anything, and simply put them through a few days test of everybody being blindfolded, playing every instrument, including everybody else's instrument. So they had their own instrument there. They would play everybody else's that brought them in, and they would play all these shitty violins. And they would play them in just a little room by themselves. They would play them in a larger room, and then they would play them actually at a symphony hall with just a huge hall, blindfolded still. But they would pick up each instrument, take it out there where they would actually play it in the position where they would normally play it, and then play it within an orchestra playing. And after all things are said and done, this is all available right here on YouTube. The whole challenge is right here. And like I said, these are the biggest players in the world, and a vast 85-90% of them all picked newer instruments and couldn't pick their own out of any of them. But most of them picked some new cheap-ass instrument as being the best feeling sounding instruments out there. So, just interesting. So just something for you guys to go look up. It's neat. And again, the fingerboard thing. And while we're there, and before I start the rest of the questions, again, this goes along with the first question, was why are so many people dumb motherfuckers? There you go, you blindfold them and they're all dumb motherfuckers, that's for damn sure. My good old Strat here, this guy, fingerboard. The finish is gone where I played out on there for 20-some years. So look, that's not dirt, that's just the finish is gone. Okay, so you don't put oils and stuff in there. People like Martin, Gibson, whoever that make fretboards and actually put them on their guitars, they go to great lengths to totally dry out all their woods. Okay, I mean, some of them put them in a kiln to dry them out. Others put them away for many, many years and wait for them to dry out until they're finally able to do something with them. So then they go and they make conditioners and oils and stuff to sell you to fuck up your instruments, but it's a product that they can sell you. Why? Because you buy into the belief of everything. So they make a perfectly great guitar for you to play, but then they make other shit for you to fuck it up with. There's a reason for that. You get to go buy a new guitar from them. Okay, so they have new products for sale that they you get. It's just like Kiss, man. Without merchandising, they wouldn't be rich. So it's with Gene doing all the merchandising, that's where the huge money comes in. So with people like Gibson, Fender, Martin, everything, there's t-shirts, there's fretboard polish and what have you. Good God. What do you call it? I don't own a single piece of it. What do you call where you clean it? Guitar polish. See, I don't even... no, you don't need it. It's bad for it. Spit on it or use water. Again, yes, spit or water. And again, yes, straight from the people who are the classical pros. Don't fuck with your wood. It's naturally grown from water. Nothing else is dumped on there other than salt water, actually. Some tell you to only use salt water to clean your instruments with. But I just stick with straight water. No, not much. They say barely ever get it very wet at all, because you don't want to crack and dry out or fuck up your fingerboard. But no, it's dead, it's dry, it never needs another drink of water again. It's just gets it clean. But since my finish has gone off here, does it need to be protected? No. Look, here's the back of my neck. There hasn't been a finish on that thing in 20-some years. On the guitars I'm going to keep forever, I take the finish completely off the necks. And it's going to be great forever, and it feels amazing, as anybody who has no finish on their neck knows. And you don't oil this part, do you? Better not. Okay, last thing on this, since this isn't supposed to be a video about that crap, this is the only guitar that I own that actually has any finish imperfections in it. So there's the back of it. Okay, when you get the back of your guitar like that from shirt buttons or belt buckles, do you oil that to keep it nice and to keep it from cracking or breaking or here? No. Then why do you do it over here? If you have a mahogany body and whatever, if you have a rosewood body, like on the rosewood tellies and strats, and they did a walnut series of strats and tellies too, and all those for you dumb motherfuckers from the original Dumb Motherfucker video, which we're still on Dumb Motherfucker, so I can say it. They were like, because I mentioned, about there being a rosewood stripe down the back of some Fender necks. Yeah, some do have rosewood. The majority are walnut, and then there are the ones, like I said, on the rosewood and on the walnut Fender guitars, and all the other guitars that copied them, Tokai and everybody else, they use maple for the skunk stripe. So, yeah, it's not just one kind of wood they use for the skunk stripes. So, shut up until you learn something. So that's why there's so many dumb motherfuckers that just believe everything that anybody else will tell them. The reason that people tell them that is to get them to buy more stuff. They want them to come in and buy more stuff. Same thing with the whole Elixir thing. With the strings, of course. Yeah, they're just Diodario strings. And then, see, Gore Industries just puts their polymer over top of the strings after it's done. That's the way you're supposed to do it. That way no dirt, no oils, no dead skin, no anything can get between the windings. And that's why they stay sounding new as they can sound. Elixir strings sound about 80% new when you put them on. That's like 5 minutes after I've been on a set of regular strings, how they sound. So they don't sound completely brightened, brand spanking new, but they always sound like they're 80% new for like a guy with me, who these are designed for people who have excessive acidic sweat. Every other company that makes coated strings, they coat the material first, and then they go and wind the strings around the core, and that still allows every bit of all that stuff I mentioned to get between the windings. That's what kills your strings. So they still all have exposed windings. So it's no good for all the other coated strings out there. I just got done explaining that again to somebody. They're like, how come you always say Elixir strings are the best and everything else sucks? It's like I'm talking about coated strings only, and Diodarios are definitely not my favorite. I like the Ernie balls, as far as the sounds go, but they don't coat those. And if I could play Ernie balls, and I used to have to change them 6 times a night, because 6 sets a night, had to change them on every set because my sweat's that bad. And if they could make, I'd like to check out some Ernie balls, but do them in like a stainless steel, and then have Elixir do the coating. But the folks at Gore Industries who make Elixir are too damn goofy and such assholes that they'll never use a better brand. Is a better string, not really, but they're better people over at Ernie Ball than they are at Diodario. So I'll just leave it at that. So there's all the dumb motherfucker shit. Okay, so I spent 14 minutes on that question. I spent 14 minutes rambling, but that's a whole bunch of dumb motherfuckers right there. And again, all the retailers told the people at Elixir, please make some shittier strings. Nobody's showing up to buy strings anymore. These last way too long. Therefore, the nano webs were invented. Therefore, they fray and come undone and wear out quicker, so you go in and buy more strings. So you talk to the guy at the music store and you believe everything he says. And that's why everybody becomes a dumb motherfucker, because you just believed somebody with the equivalent IQ of a McDonald's or a Walmart employee mentality. They just don't know what they're talking about, and they just need customers in. So that's why there's so many dumb motherfuckers, and they're all over the world. plus gazillions of hours in front of the computers and in front of the TV watching Pokemon and watching video games and blah 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 blah, instead of actually studying and doing good stuff or even practicing. Okay, let's actually get to why we're here. Let's continue to read. We're going right above Elmo. Thank you again for the question. Real quick, I will not be here the next couple of days. Probably won't see anything until about Monday. I've got gigs to do. This is actually Thursday night when I'm talking to you now. So whenever I upload this, which will probably be later tonight since I have to be gone for the next few days, I'll be back, but this has to carry you over until next week. Okay? The Unnamed is the person's screen name for the next one. The Unnamed. So follow along in your weekly reader. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about because you're not that old, but follow along in your book. Turn to the hymnal on page... Scott, will you do a video about how to properly change strings using a Floyd Rose? Also, I would like a full gear rig review, what you use, and so on, all in one video. A full-on gear gig review. I would have to do that at a gig where we actually got set up early, which will never happen because we've never once ever started on time at a gig. Not my fault. Dumb motherfuckers. I would like to. I would have to actually bring my gear home to do that, so to do that part, I will, because I've got some of the same stuff here. So, but as far as using the Floyd Rose, I don't own one. I used to, but I don't own any anymore. The only thing I have that is close, which you can either accept it or not, you can just let me know. Yes, I love the Floyds, but I just don't happen to have one. The only thing I have is the Ibanez. That sucker. So, it's the closest thing I have to it. It's as good or better a system than a Floyd is, but a Floyd is still, the original Floyd is still the best one that I've ever experienced. If I ever come up with another Floyd, sure, I'll definitely do it. Otherwise, yeah, there's just a bunch of whammies that don't get used on different Fender-esque guitars around here. There's not another locking whammy system in the entire house. So, if I get another one, I sure will, because most of them are pretty bad out there, that's for sure. Okay, so I'll have to wait on both of yours, but I'll definitely get to both of them. I would like to do both. The next one above that is from Jay. Did I do him before? Blasio. B-L-A-S-S-I-O. I gotta find out, so I... Because remember, I only said 2 questions, people. But I don't see it. And I didn't get through much at all yesterday, did I? You know me, I love to talk, so be it. Okay, it's a long question. See, it makes no difference when I make things long, but when you guys do, hell. Okay, J. Blasio is what it looks like, or Blasio. Nice to finally have the opportunity to say hi. Hey, the Fonz. Missed out on your last Q&A. Love your videos. This sounds familiar. Did I did do this one. Yeah, I read yours the other day. So I skipped over a couple people's things yesterday. I skipped over Elmo and I skipped over the Unnamed. And I did his. He was talking about, you know, the any boss I'd ever worked for or whatever, you know, and I did the whole thing about Toby Keith and how do you like me now, and I told you about how I worked at State Line Casino, and that was that question. So I'd skipped over some. So I need to actually mark these off, which I will just simply do now. I'll just mark that whole page and mark this page from yesterday. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Original music, blah blah blah. And for Matt, who was talking about the ALS challenge. Somebody sent me a thing and showed me, answered it and showed me where the challenge was done. So I see that now, and I'll be glad to do it, but I'm not going to be home, like I said, for a few days, so I won't get a chance to. It asks for us to do it within a 24-hour period, and of course, no time. So I wish I could, but I will, most definitely. Okay, so we're going with something I definitely haven't read. This is Marwan, M-A-R-W-A-N, R-A-T-I-U-G. Not even going to try that. Okay, so from Marwan, it says, "Hi Scott, I have been playing for 3 years and I'm stuck." Okay, let's find out why. Oh, dude, I've already got the answer to your question. This is one of my favorites. I want to improve my rhythm and have been working tons with the metronome. Too bad for you. No, it is too bad. Throw the metronome in the trash, please. It's the worst thing ever invented. It really is. But it's kind of boring. Of course it's boring. It sucks. Don't use it. Throw it away. Should I start taking lessons with a pro to give me better structure? No. And strategy to get better? Or do I need the same on my own? Or to do the same on my own? Okay. Cheers. Okay, so that's for Marwan. Dude, yeah, get rid of the metronome. Totally. Marwan, write to me at you can even write, just write to the easiest one, same screen name, groovydjs at AOL.com. Okay, just do that one. Because I check that all the time, but I look for things that are different, you know, except for just the replies to every video. But I'll see yours if you actually just write me a letter from your actual email address, not through, what is this called, YouTube? Write me through just your regular email address so it looks different than everything else. And it's, again, groovydjs, my screen name, at AOL.com. And then I'll send you a link to download my 60 drum tracks. Practice with that. That was my savior. Back when I was young, they put out albums called drum drops. It was just 5 songs per side. They weren't songs, they were just, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 minute long drum patterns. Each of them different. You know, you could buy the rock one, or the metal one, or the country one, or the waltz one, or the whatever you wanted. But, you know, I had to pay the price of an album back then for 10 tracks. This gives you 60 of them. They're all that long. You can use them for recording later when you get to that point, and they're fully available on my website. If anybody wants them, they're only $4 to download them, but I'll give them to you. And just put that drum tracks in the subject line, and I'll just send them to you. Practice with that. Throw away I mean, it's perfect beat, and I do everything just like songs are arranged, you know, in verses and choruses with the drums changing up some during the choruses, and they're perfect for recording, perfect for practicing with. They were the godsend of something. It's like, if you don't want to practice along with songs, which you'll want to do that to be able to really get going, but where you're at now, where you're in that rut, you need to practice with a drummer. And usually the drummers that you're going to hang out with, or going to have in your town, are going to do you more harm than good, because they're going to kind of suck. And the pro drummers who won't suck aren't going to give you the time of day to waste their precious time if they're of any caliber. So, yeah, practice with my drum tracks, and that's the best way to go, dude. Just play whatever you already know. Just play the holy crap out of it until you're sick of playing the holy crap out of it. But do it over everything. So if it's got the rock beat, just pop. Okay, so you'll do that over the rock things, but do it over every track, because there are some on there that are total pop and ambient, weird techno stuff too. There's 10 of the techno things, and the country thing. Even though it's country, I mean, it just makes you a better player. So instead of going, there you can go. Okay, So you'll get good at every kind of style, even though you're still playing the same thing. You're not. It will. Every single track will make you. I mean, it will just guide you, because that's what music does. It throws an emotion at you, and you get to throw one back. It's kind of like having a fight or playing along with it. So if it feels good, you guys are playing well together. If you have a fight with it, then you have a problem with it, and you got to overcome that. But metronomes are the evil. They're like tabs. They just should not be around. Same as fingerboard cleaning things and guitar polish. They just shouldn't exist. Okay? So that's a huge one. That's a big, huge one. So metronomes, no, 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 no. Again, just like the people on, if you guys ever go to the Taylor website, I'm not a fan of Taylor stuff at all. I've got one great Taylor guitar, and I've had others, and I've hated every one that I've ever played or touched, except for this one. Electrics and otherwise, but they do make a good comment, and they're talking about the electric guitar wood too, making no flipping difference, and to also just use water on your fingerboards. And they say so many great things on there that you guys should really go check out. Just the common sense stuff that Taylor has on their website. There's some really good stuff to just read over there. Too bad they don't make amazing guitar. They make some amazing guitars, but not many. It's hard to be consistent when so many people want horrible guitars. People, they said, why do you want to keep using the same technology? This here actually comes from Fishman on a new pickups they have out for electric guitars. So read this one too, on the new Fishman pickups for electric guitar Strats. They're totally different than anything you've ever played. They're the ones who said, whenever you're tired of using the same old technology that's been around for 80 years and you're ready to try something new, and that actually is a huge improvement over everything, then try these, because it's true. Everybody is so clogged up with bullshit that has been exactly the same for 80 years, since guitars have become guitars and commonplace. And don't forget also, check out the history of the guitars. They are meant for poor people and harlots, whores. So that's what guitars were invented for. Harlots, whores, and women first, and then guys, poor people on the streets. They were a poor person's instrument, or a person of very little integrity at all. That's who the guitar was made for. So bums and whores. Explains rock and roll, huh? So it wasn't until somebody actually, you know who he is, maybe you don't, maybe you're just stuck in whatever, but came along and classical guitar and put guitar on the map as a viable instrument. And people with their little opera glasses would come see him play his classical guitar, and then all of a sudden they realized it could be a real instrument instead of just some strumming twang stick for poor and gross people. And if you have to, and here's where everybody screws up too, the information on the internet is written by morons too. There's not very much real information on the internet. You have to search for it, because there's way more dumb motherfuckers than there are smart people. So of course the internet's gonna be, I read it on here. Of course you did. That's like going to TMZ or going to the Inquirer. You read it, but right there it is in print. It's got to be true. That's 95% of the internet is probably 90% used for pornography. The rest of it for whatever, and out of that minute amount that's left over, just a bunch of dumb motherfuckers giving you wrong information about everything. So, what makes me an expert? The fact that I know the difference. That's about it. Am I an amazing guitar player? Hell no. I'm not amazing at anything I do other than teaching. And that is only teaching for the people that I fit in with. If you don't like my style of teaching, then I am not for you at all. And the only place I am a great guitar player is on stage in my element. I know when to lay out, I know when to stay back, I know when to play the perfect licks, I know when to play one note and let it last forever, and I am as good as anybody at that kind of thing. I am great at that. And with my old twangy kind of stuff, and that's where I belong. Everything else, I have no, real business being in. But as far as talking about guitars and blah 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 and instruments and just general mentality about music stuff, that's all I ever dwell on and always have for my life. And it's so easy to pick out the morons and dismiss them and call them all the names in the world. It gets old, yeah, and I've blocked way more people than anybody else has ever had as a subscriber, just because I don't deal with morons. And I usually look like the moron because of the way that I handle morons, because I flip the fuck out. So it just sucks to be alive this long and deal with morons on a consistent basis. So anyway, fuck your metronome, really. And get those drum tracks from me, and keep in touch with me via email, not through YouTube. Okay? And tell me if this don't cure everything. Okay? I know that took long. Whatever. I'm here to help the people who want help. It might be 25 more hours worth of stuff here, but if anybody listens, and if one person learns something from all of my yakking, because I love to hear myself talk, supposedly. No, I really don't. I hate my voice. Everybody hates my voice. But it's loud, it's obnoxious, I don't talk well again, because of the speech impediment thing, and I don't even know how loud I talk. Other people just, I understand my voice is very irritating, I know that. But what's stuck up in here and what actually comes out of here is the truth, people. So sorry if my tone and my delivery isn't up to your expectations, but again, the shit I spew out of my mouth is correct. I wouldn't guide you wrong at all. But no matter what anybody says about anything, okay, this here's kind of like the end of the dumb motherfucker thing, where I say, if any of you guys would actually, practice half as much as you bitch, you might actually learn how to play the guitar. Same thing here. It's like, man, at the end of the day, yeah, listen to me. At the end of the day, listen to whoever. Listen to everybody. But at the end of the day, listen to yourself by trying things out and finding out how it really is. Take all the debates, all the slander, all the bullshit, and try it for yourself. See what works for you. If something turns out that whatever so-and-so said, it doesn't mean they're an idiot. It means it works for them. Something that sounds great to me isn't going to sound great to everybody. Probably most people it's going to suck to. It's like, God, if I had to play on Hendrix's rig and sound like that, I would fucking shoot myself. But I just don't like that sound. Some people just strive for it, but it's not what I'm about. I want, there was a song called Hey 19, the very first guitar note. If you don't know it, look it up, Hey 19. That, and then Sultans of Swing, and then Slow Hand is the song, but Conway Twitty version. All three of those guitar sounds, those are my perfect guitar sounds. Vince Gill gets some really great sounds too, but those are what I'm after. I'm always after that sound, so that's the sound I'm stuck with. But if it isn't yours, then shut everybody down and just take with you the material that works in your scenario, and don't put other people down because it didn't work for you. They put out what they seriously believe and what works for them. It's not that they're wrong unless they put out information that is actually just wrong, specs. But as far as opinions, like assholes, everybody's got one. Take all the opinions you want, but at the end of the day, your opinion's the only one that matters. So take everything, even every person, with a grain of salt. Thank whoever led you to believe or find your way, and move on. Okay? That's my best advice for today. Okay, so thank you. Marwan, going up to Lance Moss. We got 2 questions. He read it, or he listened. 2 questions. Hey Scott, hey Lance. Love your videos, man. I got a couple of questions for you. Number 1, how many types of dumb motherfuckers are there? Yeah, like I said before, Lance, there are guitar players tend to be the dumbest motherfuckers out there. I know you're usually saying bass players, because they're going to play 4 strings because they think it's an instrument that's going to be a third easier because of the difference in how many strings there are. But hey, there's basses with 28 strings on them now, so they can't complain to do that. So yeah, guitar players always make fun of drummers and bass players, anybody that don't play guitar. But then again, guitarists are just the dumbest people on the fucking earth. But that's because that's who we deal with, our other guitar players, so we see that. But there are dumb motherfuckers in every single aspect of life, period. So, you know, my wife works at the post office. Everybody, she actually don't make fun of anybody except for the public. You know, she's very religious and very much about, she don't judge anybody. She, you know, believes there's a God and she should not judge, but it's always usually the Bible thumpers who are the first to judge and really shove it down your throat. Dumb motherfuckers right there. So the religious people, actually, so that's one. Musicians, every single profession there is in life, nothing but dumb motherfuckers there, unless they know what they're doing the right way. And people keep saying there's no right way. Everything is totally up to you as far as music goes. It's not the truth. It's partly true. It's a part truth. But as far as creativity is yours, but certain things must be done a certain way. You know, if you actually plug the back of a power amp output into your microphone and then play something through an amplifier head, yes, your diaphragm is going to explode right out through the screen of your microphone. So that's the wrong way to do it. So yes, there are wrong ways in music. There are definitely wrong things that you can do. So, at least I'd say, I'm just taking a guess because I had no fucking clue to your actual answer, except for I'm going to say that 1 in 100 people are not dumb motherfuckers in their entirety, but the rest of them are. I honestly feel that the world is just so full of them. Just take a drive down the street, my friend. If it was legal to shoot people, and you were that kind of person to shoot people, how many people driving those cars doing 25 mile an hour in a 55 mile an hour zone would you just shoot and get off the road if you were allowed to? All those people are morons about something. So they're just dumb motherfuckers. And there are way more of them than anybody else. As far as the brilliant people, you get your Einsteins, you get your Beethovens and so forth. Most of them were considered to be either retarded or exceptionally autistic or just out of their fucking minds, but yet they're brilliant. I'm out of my fucking mind, and am I brilliant? No, I'm not. I'm not brilliant at all, but I do stick to my guns on what I know to be the truth. And again, Scott Grove, this here's me pretending to be everybody else. I've said this in so many videos, and so has everybody else. He doesn't know the difference between truth and his opinion. Of course I do. You guys just misinterpret almost every single thing I say. I have honestly not heard anything repeated back, unless they copy and paste it, that is even close to anything that I actually say. So it's very strange. So all the people are dumb motherfuckers. Okay, so second question for Lance Moss. Would you ever review a Chapman guitar? Not asking you to, though. I can't wait for the Nigel channel. Thanks. The Nigel thing, yeah, it's coming, and it's coming on big time, and I plan on to, just like, it's meant to be very informative, and just as my channel actually is, if people listen to it. But it's going to be done the Nigel way, and it's there to piss the fuck off out of people who hate it when we fucking cuss like this and fucking everything. Rocky roll! But it's going to be done the Nigel way for people who actually have a sense of humor. People who actually find farts funny, people who like gay jokes or whatever just because they're funny, because they are. It's not that you're bashing them, it's just you're having fun at their expense. I have fun at my expense too. I know I'm a moron, but I'm right about things I talk about. It's going to be Nigel and to the fucking hilt. So there will be a lot less or a lot more subscribers. That may go viral or it may go into the ground, but I'm not letting it die because Nigel is a beautiful person. It's for people who like back when Charlie was actually a character on 2.5 Men, when they like that guy, just bang as many broads as you can. It's just for everybody who, like I said, who has a fucking sense of humor, a guy sense of humor, somebody that is actually just a person and who doesn't get bent out of shape for making weird jokes, doing ethnic jokes just because. Yes, people are people, and I fully believe that in every capacity of the word. Everybody thinks, of course, I'm major, what do they call it? I know you've got it, but I don't have it in my head yet. I'm not that smart anymore, or I'm not that, I can recall things quick enough. Racist. There are stereotypes for a reason, very much so. Statistically, if you got 800 black guys in jail and 2 white guys, statistically, what's that tell you? That tells you a whole bunch of things. Either cops crack down on the black guys just because they're black, have nothing better to do, or the black guys just simply don't have jobs and they're trying to feed their families or what have you, or that they're criminals by nature. It's one of those, but I don't make the judgment. There are statistics, and you get to judge them if your God will let you. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. The Chapman guitar. Yeah, I've looked up a few, and people have always changed them. There's some, I don't know where you're from, Lance, but yeah, there's always 1 or 2 for sale here in the United States on eBay for like $300 or best offer. Just saw another ML1, has the monkey lord on the back of the headstock. I was going to go ahead and buy it for $250 and check it out. And why not? They can't be bad guitars. It's just, the guy's not a moron. Well, he don't know how to. If you see him with his green Slimer guitar, his BC Rich, what fucking is it, Gunslinger, the one he bought for 75 quid, that he said he never bought for the 8 videos before that. He said, no, I didn't buy it. And then all of a sudden, here's the guitar I bought. But he put a volume pot in there. 2 wires, hot and negative. It didn't work. He did the review on the guitar anyway, and he showed. I fucked it up. I'm going to have to take it in the shop, get it replaced. How about switching the 2 wires? Fuck. And you guys are buying guitars from this guy who can't wire 2 wires. Take them off the one, put the new volume pot in, rewire it back in, and he owns his own guitar company. He's just like everybody else here. You throw a bunch of money at the Asians and they do the stuff for you. Just tell them what you want. But if you can't fix your own shit, I have a problem with people like that, and then they start their own business. But then again, Leo Fender never learned to play a guitar ever, but he was a genius in other ways. But anyway, I don't know what all that was about that I just said, but that's me going off because I do. But yeah, I would definitely do a Chapper's guitar, and I will find one. And just out of fun, I'll probably cut the sumbitch up at the end and do that. And they're like, no, give it away to a little kid. I would just get more of self-worth if I chopped it up after doing the review, but doing it on camera with a chainsaw or running over it with a van or something. But I'd check it out. I wish they would make something with 3 single coils. I'd buy it. I know they come stuff with 3 single coil slots, but nothing with actually 3 single coils. That I would like to have. Okay, let's go up to Christ. No, it's Christ, C-R-I-S-T. It might be pronounced Christ. I'm looking at my thing. We got another 15 minutes or so. I might make it a little longer, depends on how I feel. Christ Synops. says, "Man, I actually believed it, Scott. I was upset to read it." Oh, it must be about me being dead. "I am so happy it was only a hoax. The music world needs honest and refreshing people like yourself. All the best, and keep posting your vlogs." Okay, so he likes the video logs from the band. I'm glad some people do. You know, I notice, not very many people watch them, but that's fine. But for the people who do, that's why they're there. That's why I continually just piss off the band by always having the camera out. They don't want to be seen for some reason, and don't want to be any part of this, but I know you guys like it, and that's why I put it out there, just so you guys know what it's like to be in a little podunk band like this. I know band's not going anywhere. We're not trying to. We're never going to write an original song. They're never going to do any of my couple hundred originals. It's just something to do to have supposed fun and to be able to play, because we have few people to pick from out here in the boonies. But everybody in the band is actually good, good enough to play with. And same here, I was definitely out of shape when I was giving lessons and recording them and selling them to y'all, and I'm getting back into shape as I play. And some of you have noticed that I'm getting my fingers back. I couldn't even keep in rhythm half the time I'm doing demonstrations on guitars, but you're talking to a stroke victim, and so be it. I'm doing the best I can, so at least I'm here for you guys. So yeah, I'm glad to be alive too, but it was a great video, and I do know who did it now, and the guy is an amazing artist too. He's been a friend of mine actually for a long time. Superb guitar player, amazing, disturbing artist, kind of as Giger was. They work in the darker elements of artistic creation, which I think is cool. I mean, it all needs to be covered, but it doesn't matter what the subject is. The guy is just a great visionary and a great artist in every way. And then in film, and then to do this Hardwick, or the Chad Hardwick or whatever, and to do all that stuff, and throw it together in seconds basically, and throw it up just because my other guy, Duncan, had made a cool video with editing and stuff, and I don't do any of that junk, but that's another art form in itself. The guy is amazingly talented as an artist all around, and again, probably out of his fucking mind. And I would be so relieved to hear that he is somehow certifiably mad, because he's a genius. And that's where the genius usually comes from. People who have had a life-altering experience and are somehow left with a different perception than the guitar-did people, okay? Or the dumb motherfuckers. Sometimes it takes something life-altering or life-threatening or loss of life and then bring you back to give you a different skill set, which is against the grain of everything. It's not for the sake of being against the grain, like Warlock Wyatt says that I do every video. I just try to think of something else that everybody's going to believe and then try to disprove it. No, I'm just proving and saying the way things are, but people take things the wrong way and they run with it just to create their own fame. They say, this is why he does it. It's like, you don't know anything about me. And no, I don't do it just to get people riled up. I do it to get people to know the truth. Not my truth. This is just the regular truth, but again, not many people know the truth about anything because you're told lies by the manufacturers. Every Gibson, you go to the Gibson site. This will say it has a coil split or a coil tap in it, coil tap for the last 30 years. It never has. It's always had coil splits. They don't know the difference. Okay, they actually have in this year, they started using coil taps on some of their single coils. You can actually coil tap a humbucker. It takes some major doing. You got to do both sides or just half of one side, but then it gets in the way of the magnetic field of the other side, so it doesn't work real well when you actually tap a humbucker. But just know that there's the people who are usually driving the bus, the big honchos, they're usually the fucking moron. Okay, that's like with Leo Fender. He had G&L. George, help me with his name. George, was it Fullerton? I know they were in Fullerton, California originally, but George Fullerton, his dad was with Leo Fender at the original Fender plant, and every employee was a unskilled Mexican worker. It's right here on YouTube. You can watch it. I've linked it a few times, but just look up Leo Fender tour or lost footage or 1957 or something like that. You can see it. It's just, you know, Jose and Jose B and Mamacita and whatever doing all this stuff, and Leo don't know how to play, but then you bring in a couple of ringers that actually know how to play and know guitars, and then they get through it together. Then Leo took Fullerton's son, and they went and started at G&L, which still to this day puts out consistently better products than what Fender does. Good folks. Them and Music Man, who did they buy a long time ago? You're already saying it. Ernie Ball bought Music Man. I'm sorry, Music Man didn't buy anybody. Ernie Ball, good company, bought Music Man, and Music Man's always been superior to the Fender stuff too, but then again, Fender was involved there. So, Fender was a brilliant guy, just couldn't play guitar. So there's all that. I don't remember why I was talking about it, but let's see why. Okay, you asked me about the Chapman guitar. Yeah, so if I find one, I'll buy it, and I'll do a review, and I'll smash it just to make a point, or just to make it funny. Even if I love it, I'll smash it, and I'll get another one. It makes no big deal here. If I smash it, I can still write it off as a tax thing, because I do something, I show you how it splinters. You know, I get to show if the headstock busts off, or whatever, but yeah, I'll definitely get one. And not to just put the guy down at all. If it is a great guitar, like I said, I'll get another one, and then I'll play it. Okay, okay, you told me about, okay, there's Chris. Let's go up to Huge Ass. I'm just looking at the time like it actually matters. Yeah, and it shows a big old ass on here too of a chick. Looks like one of them Kardashian things. It just says, "I'm glad you aren't dead." Thanks, man. I showed that video to my parents and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, that's awful. Why would somebody do that?" It's like, because they're fucking brilliant, and because you guys are dumb motherfuckers and you don't see the humor in it. So yeah, my family are dumb motherfuckers too, and I know that. Half of my family is certifiably retarded, just because my mom's sister married a retarded man, and they actually ended up with 3 out of 4 retarded kids. Okay, and that's why I can say retarded on here, and not, you know, it's just like black people are the only people allowed to call each other nigger. It's like we can't. It's like, no, it's just people are black. People used to be called niggers. They don't like it anymore, so you either say it and get your face shot off or whatever. They call us crackers, going all the way back to cracking the whip. It's just where it came from. So Nigel's going to have a blast with all that shit. So white people can be bigger niggers than anybody else. Trust me. Okay. They're just words, people. There's no hate behind them yet. And when I do use hate behind them, it won't be towards an ethnic race either. Okay, above that we got Jan Jeffries 5050. Awesome video, Scott. Are you going to make more guitar reviews? Whenever guitars come in, that's going to be very few and far between. It depends, and I'm thinking about firing my corporate, what do you call them people? The people who do take care of all my money. Accountants. If I fire those people and go back to having my wife doing the prep work, and then we use our other guy for stuff, then I will still be back to doing more guitar reviews, because I have to buy some and show them on here and do a whole presentation on them strictly, and then put them on my website, and that way they're completely 100% able to be written off as a total tool of the trade, tax deduction, or for teaching you guys, a teaching aid. So therefore they can be written off. I don't have to like the guitars to buy them. So if I ever get one, of course, but I won't be getting them ever again like I did. The only reason I would get any more guitars strictly would be to for taxes. depending on how things roll by the end of this year. So not as much, sadly enough, but there's a bunch on here that cover what we can. Sunny E. I see the name Kurt Cobain and Nirvana in here already, so this should be fun. This will take up the rest of the time probably. Scott, you've said on a few occasions that Kurt Cobain with Nirvana basically destroyed rock and roll from the inside out. So what exactly did they do that damned rock music? Well, I'm glad that Kurt's dead. Just like I'm glad that Hendrix is dead, and I'm glad that everybody else is dead, because they're just overindulgent, drug addict, little weird motherfuckers that just... Maybe they have way too many problems, and being dead is better for them. But I believe if you do all that shit, that you should die. If your brain is that scattered, man, maybe it's the best thing for you. Okay, but as far as, and that's honestly just the way I believe. That's my opinion. For anybody who's never heard me say that, turn this into a GIF file. That's just my opinion. Yeah, you've never heard me say that before, so use that. That's fact. No, that's my opinion. I honestly believe that, yes, I do credit Nirvana with being the main reason that rock and roll took such a quick turn like it did, from the hair band scene to the grunge scene. Everything changed overnight. It was the whole, what was it, Smells Like Dead Fish, whatever the album was called. I don't even think the album was called anything. It was called Nevermind, but the Smell Like Teen Spirit thing. Just like Bob Dylan with a cold. Couldn't understand a word. That sounds like Chappers playing guitar. Play a bunch of low notes. Boom, 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 boom. Squeaky harmonic and boom, 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 boom. Same fucking thing, people. Yeah, so I thought hair bands and guyliner and all that shit was fun. I missed the shit out of the 80s. It was just the transition for the next set of music. There is a definitive point with every genre of music where everything changes, and you can usually nail it down within 20-30 years after that point came. So everybody was doing the hairband thing, and everybody had to be Eddie Van Halen clones, or excuse me, I have a big loogie waiting just to come up, and it's not going to do it. If I got it up, I'd show it to you. I don't know. Vito Bratta, you had Betancourt, you had old fat dead Robin Crosby, DiMartelli, Eddie Van Halen, all that stuff. The 80s were amazing for guitar players. Guitar players only get noticed for country music these days, as far as mainstream music. People are sick of solos, and that's what that band did. They came along, wore street clothes, did the whole just I don't give a fuck thing. Let's tear everything up. Let's get stoned. Let's get drunk. Let's just fucking be regular people and don't worry about what we look like, and play music that is for dumb motherfuckers. And that got the majority of the people interested. So the people who couldn't play as well, all of a sudden, I can play that good. Like that, or like Green Day. Some of the bands that are still around, winning all these awards for playing 3-chord songs. Yeah, anybody who's ever played Guitar Hero or whatever that other stupid thing that's out, that's a video game that teaches you how to play real guitar supposedly now. Something Smith, I think. I think they even got Marty Schwartz to kind of take some money for pitching whatever that game is. Yeah, there's just a definitive place where music changed, and all of a sudden everybody who was a Eddie Van Halen or a copy of every other guitar player playing their Kramers and Jacksons, and that's it. And the teased hair all went away, just like boom, and all of a sudden, the next day, all those guys were either in hairnets or shaved their heads, and they were all saying, "Do you want fries with that?" Okay, so yeah, it really was. I mean, there's no other thing. It was just so huge for whatever reason, but it was the musicians, the lesser music is what. Okay, again, my opinion, totally my opinion. All this, every last word of this is totally my opinion. They came along and it was real. It was different. It related to the dumb motherfuckers, people who couldn't quite play as well, and all of a sudden that was okay, and they could be stars now too. And then other people who just liked to be free, didn't want to have a job, live with mom till they're 39. All those people, the slackers, the drunks, the scum of the earth, related to them, and that was the majority of the people who loved that stuff. And more people started riding that wave and said, well, basically it's punk, and that's back. And other bands just followed suit, so everybody, still to this day, basically in rock music, in whatever state it's in, if you're not in a band that does like Guar and puts on, weird outfits or something, like Kiss, then you're going to be in a band that is still basically like Nirvana, just weird shit. Everybody's still looking for the next new thing. Everybody says it's all been done. Everybody says that all the time, but then it comes along again and everything will change. And I honestly think that Nirvana is the band who changed everything, because they just strictly went against everything that was going at the time, and because they had a record deal and somebody sunk an awful lot of fucking money behind that album. The suits who own all the music companies now, it's not musicians and great engineers that like Eddie Kramer and all these guys who own the studios or anything now. It's all suits, and everybody's are yes men. So gone are the good old days of like Sun Records and Electric Ladyland and everything that we know to be groovy and cool. That's all gone forever and ever and ever. So the only way to make your own music now, which is cool that you can, is at home. Do it on your computer, make it there, play everything. That's what everybody's doing anyway. You don't need a label anymore. All you need is a bunch of hits on YouTube, and you will get signed, or you will manage yourself if you're smarter. Okay, so yeah, I just think it was just a turning point. Somebody needed to come along. Nirvana came along. I still think every last bit of it was total shit. I don't see anything musical in it at all. I hate it. I just don't get it. Is it because I'm old? I wasn't old when they came out. It just seemed like the most retarded thing I'd ever heard in my life, and for people to follow in it, that's what people do. Again, they're dumb motherfuckers. They don't know any better, so they're like sheep. Nirvana were the leaders. Cobain, it wasn't in his DNA to be a star. Again, he was fucked up in the head, so he took his head off. And that's the quickest way to become a legend, is to kill yourself at the height of your popularity. So he did. He pulled a Hendrix. What can you say? Okay, so there's that in my opinion. You asked, I gave you my opinion. Most of these, if they're fact, I will tell you fact. If they're opinion, I'll tell you their opinion, as always. I'm going over on this one. There is this one here, and this one's going to freak some of you out. But then again, some of you it won't freak out. This here's from Jimmy Hightower. It says, "Hey Scott, we all know that you like Kiss." Well, I don't think you guys know how I like Kiss, but yeah, that was who made me get into all this stuff. And still I collect things, but amazing musicians. They've had some in the band before, but anyway, that's not part of the question. The question is actually out of that. But what do you think of the late great Rory Gallagher? Never heard him. Are you kidding? Nope, never heard him. Never once. People have said his name to me a few times. I've never once on YouTube ever went and looked him up to hear what he plays. I am not a Guitar Hero fan. I couldn't tell you what he looks like, what I think somebody said he played a Telecaster maybe, but couldn't tell you who the fucker is, if he's alive, if he's dead, I don't know. And that's the truth. I don't know who he is, so I can't tell you. So for Jimmy Hightower, I don't know what band he played with, if it was just called the Roy Gallagher Band, or if he played for somebody many times and was like Albert Lee and never became his own thing but just played for everybody. I don't know who the guy is. I've never studied him. I don't know what his guitar sounds like, what he looks like. Nothing. I don't care. I might someday go look at it, but I doubt it. So there's your answer. The truth. I don't know who Rory R-O-R-Y Gallagher is. It's a guy that smashes. Is that the guy who does Pumpkins with the Sledge-O-Matic? Gallagher? I honestly don't know. He was never brought up enough to make any difference in my life, so apparently I don't need him in my life because I don't know anything about him. Maybe if I went and listened to him I'd like something, but I doubt it. I imagine the guy, just from listening, to be a loud tele guitar playing two-band freak that plays with like maybe I'm just guessing maybe a Fender Deluxe or something, the 22-watt deal, turned on 10 and then control it all by the guitar, and then that amp can still blow your head off, but then it just works that way and is just a hot rod guitar player type thing. That's what I picture him as, and I've never looked up his face to even see what he looks like, but that's what I would imagine he is, just because that's what people generally gravitate towards for whatever reason, because they think that's what they're supposed to do. So that's all I know about that, my friend. I'm going to go ahead and go just a little more. Eddie Mustaine. Hey Scott, what do you... I got to stop and just read it because my brain is not functioning well at all today. I slept like 15 hours and just wasn't doing well today. Last 2 days though, you guys, for anybody who gives a wild shit, only once in my life since the strokes have I ever been 1 day headache free, but for the last 2 days, yesterday when I made the first video on this, and the day before that, I had 0 headaches. The whole days, nights, whatever. So I've had 3 days in my life now since the strokes without a headache at all. So the last 2 days, I just kind of sat around in my own little world going, holy shit, this is wild. And it was great. So just know that I had a great couple days. You don't have to go, hey, thanks, congratulations and all that. You guys are the best at doing that, and I never answer back because so many people just say congratulations on everything, and please, don't say, I'm glad you had that moment of clarity, because I know you guys wish me the best. Those of you who constantly do wish me the best. I get it and I appreciate it, and I know you already do. So, thanks in advance. I'm going to try to read this. I'm going to read it slow just because my mind is processing and my headache's back, but still at a lower level. Hey Scott, what do you work in? What do you work in that you have so much money to buy gear? Sorry if you've already answered this in another video. Yep, easy one. And most people know it. And it's those things, all those things in the yellow packages. Almost 90 videos of lessons on every instrument that's in here. That was it. So the story I told about when I quit my work and came home and started doing lessons, I put the 4 on again. I put the 4 online on eBay and was making enough money off those 4 right out of the gate that I was making more than I was at the State Line Casino, where I was doing my job there, bartending and casino shift manager, and playing with my band on the weekends and stuff, but having a day job. Ugh. So I went in there and quit, and then 2 weeks later, then I had the first stroke. But that's it. Just giving lessons online and people buying them. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to start up my own website too. And it's still, a guy made me a great website. Looks perfect, but I can't get there and do it myself because I don't know how to make a website work, and it can't. When I was talking to, I kept trying to say, okay, I need this changed, I need this changed, I'm going to have a sale on things this days, and then my site was running the sale, but the nice looking site, the great looking site, would never have the sales, would never have new stuff put on, because the guy never got around to doing it. He actually still owns the groovymusiclessons.com domain name, so he can pull that from me anytime he wants, and I'm up a shit creek. But so yeah, because he made the website for me, so therefore he bought that, and he has to renew it every year. I'm glad he did. He was actually a guy that I met from mylespaul.com. I got a lot of good friends from over there, and a lot of people who just, again, who are dumb motherfuckers, but are no more dumb motherfuckers than people at any other forums. But some really great friends from there who I still stay in total touch with today. So anyway, it was strictly from lessons. Okay, I just made my own lesson thing and just grew it. I created basically this personality. I wanted to be the Howard Stern of guitar teachers. But again, on my lessons that you pay for, there's no cussing, there's no thing. I'm a total pro on those lessons. But then I wanted to create a sub-character, which you guys see the real me sometimes. Sometimes you see the weird guy, you know, but I really would love to be in show business as a comedian or an actor or something. I still would love to have enough life in me to go do that. But, so I started, again, with my own website and selling those lessons too. But the biggest thing has been YouTube, and people find me there, and they either love me or hate me there, and then they realize, wow, there are these other lessons that aren't free, that I actually go and can pay $4 for a download, or pay the $9.95 plus the $2 shipping for the DVD version of it. These are actually really good, you know, and I set out to not ever have to make anybody go through what I had to go through. When I took lessons for a couple of years, and I never learned a chord ever. Not one guitar chord. I just, once strings were out, and just playing open strings, boom, boom, bam, bam, boom, boom, bam, boom, boom, bam, boom, bam, boom, boom. And we would do a big gig at a church, and everybody go up there and play, and then you come back off, and they give you a rubber bobblehead looking thing of Litz and Bach and all this stuff, and you know, just like, this ain't for me. And then I was in 7th grade, a drummer, guy that had a drum set who I ended up playing with for years and years, and he still plays around Grand Ole Opry every single week. He's playing with the biggest names in country still, which we all did together. His real name is Gerald Boger. His name in Nashville is Gary West. He plays with Johnny Highland as his lead guitar player, if you know him. Fred Newell from Nashville now, he's his pedal steel player. And Rex Clem, my bass player, he's still there. He worked at a music store there, but he plays with, look up Rex Clem, C-L-E-M, bassist there in Nashville. And he's the same guy I played with all the way through from when I was 13 till I was, you know, about 30. Same with Gerald or Gary West. They're all right here on YouTube. They're all on Reverb Nation. You can check out everything, who we all played for, because we were all together, a band called the Royal Aces. That band backed up everybody in the world, and we toured with everybody, and they're all written there. Anybody wants to know what I've done, they don't keep track on the internet like, you know, back then like they do now. There's old stories that are there, but as far as keeping good track, people are like, oh, I don't find you playing for cash anywhere. It's like, it's definitely there, people, but check any of those people, and all of them are going to be the same. It's just the same band, the Royal Aces, with Gerald Boger, or Gary West in Nashville, because that's a hard name to remember, and Rex P. Clem, C-L-E-M, and every last thing I've ever told you, whoever I played with, it's all right there with them. Call them up, tell them Scott said hey, and ask them about what all we've done. We tore up the whole fucking world and had a blast. But I refused. I said, when I get done doing this stupid shit, you know, which I did for 25 years on the road, playing for great people, playing for absolute nobodies, playing for casino gigs, whatever, you know, do whatever I had to do to survive. But then I made the best money by stopping here in this town, farting around. Then as soon as I did these lessons, everything took off, and I was able to blow $250,000 And from the moment I got well enough after the first major stroke to start making more lessons again, I made $250,000 in the first year that I started putting out more lessons after that 4. Okay, because I pumped out a good probably 30-40 lessons on DVDs that all went straight to eBay and my website only, and that's still basically where they're at. You know, there's nothing on Amazon. I haven't ventured out anywhere else. Other people have contacted me and wanted to carry my stuff somewhere else, go in and reshoot them, do them professionally and so forth, but they don't want to deal with my things where I can be me and actually teach people how to play. They want to stretch it out, just like in lessons, and make them buy more, make them buy more, make them buy more. Just like the elixirs. They don't want the polywebs. These companies, they want the nanowebs. They want something that's going to drag it out and make you come buy more and buy more. I refuse to do it. I give you the best bang for the buck, period. I've basically given you guys the free lessons in my badass way that I do it. I've basically given you most of what's actually in the paid lessons, but the paid lessons again are for people of all ages, all ethnicities, and of all types of people. So I don't offend a single person on these lessons you pay for, but I made my own fortune. I have a fortune. I continue to make a fortune. Is it huge money? No, it's 7 digits, just right into it barely, but it is either in the high 6 digits or 7 digits per year is what actually grosses. But I have to pay at least half of that. At least half of that goes back in to taxes and supplies to make more DVDs and flash drives and hard drives and so forth. So, you know, money I actually get to keep every year is only going to be half of that, and then make it into about a quarter of there. So if I actually get like, and then I have to just survive and pay stuff like everybody else does, I think I actually end up with maybe $200,000 a year to blow on whatever I want to. The rest of it all has to be put elsewhere or in 401ks and hidden and so forth. You know, you have shelters and so forth, but that's how I made my fortune. Okay? It's just strict determination and a need to get people from the same old shitty lessons that they're still selling from, what I'm going to put his name out there, Arlen Roth, with the, what the fuck were his guitar, I don't even remember anymore. It was Arlen Roth had, and he's still putting out the same lessons from the same people, and even from himself from way back when, just repackaging them every year. And mine are no different because it's a game plan that works. So I have a renewable source of income, and these lessons shot in 240p on this old camera that runs on tape, they will still be selling and making me money forever. So I don't have to ever make a lesson again. I can sit on my ass. I never have to talk to you people ever again. I do it because I give a fuck. I don't come here at all to argue with anybody. Why would I? Who in their right mind would come here just to argue? Not me. I can sit back and take it as easy and as sweet as I want. Never have to play another note again, but I had to join another band because I was going fucking nuts. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play with my band here, or their band, and I'm just an employee. It's basically, I feel like, you know, the outsider, and you know, I'm definitely not probably their first choice, but I'm in the band. But that's the story in a nutshell, man. I did it, and it took off. People like the way I taught, and I do teach well, and I teach a lot, and you learn more in an hour lesson. Some of these are 4.5-hour lessons. Once I got a computer that would actually handle burning more onto one disc. All the first few years, I could only burn a 1-hour one on the computer I had, so everything was just an hour-long lesson. But I never did talk about gear or anything like that. I just gave you lessons and gave you the shit that you could take to stage tonight and make a world of difference in your playing. And I taught it like a person, not like an instructor. I taught it like I'm your best friend sitting there with you going, I know it sucks when you just don't know anything and every person in the world won't show you what they're doing, and they for some reason none of the other teachers show you how to play certain things. It's like I put those out there first and foremost, and people write me back all the time and send me links to them playing with the band, and they've only been playing for 6 months, but they're playing in a band that sounds great. Every day I get links from all these kind of people, just all the time, and it's wonderful. So I have made a difference in the world, whether anybody likes me or not, and it's a beautiful thing. That's why I come back. I want to make a difference in other people's lives. Even though I'm a nobody, I am a huge somebody to a lot of people, and money comes with that if you put a price on it. So there it comes. People send me donations all the time just because. You know, I have a little thing that says, download all my free lessons that I have on YouTube for a $5 donation. So yeah, I charge for my free lessons. You can download them yourself for free, or I can just send you the link and you can download those 109 lessons. There's actually a lot more than that. I just haven't put them over there yet, but it's currently at 109 for $5, and I send you the links to them, and that way you get them real easy. Or you can pay for my paid lessons. You get 86 of those, or 87, for $49.95 if you want to download them, or $100 for every single one of them on a flash drive, because flash drives are expensive. And so I'm not making hardly anything else. Then there's the hard drives, external hard drives. You could fit all the lessons that I have for sale and all the lessons that are here on YouTube. All of them fit on there just fine, and you can get that for $135. So that's how I make all my money, every bit of it. Things I make otherwise, doing DJ work, which I do. I have my own DJ company I've had for like 10 years. I've got my solo gigs I go do. That's just my money, and I make way better money that way than I do with any band. And karaoke crap makes more than any band you're in or ever will be. And what else? I just do so many other little things, and then the band money, that's all under the table except for anybody that gives us a $10.99, so I report what I have to report, and the rest, you know, whatever happens to it. I buy a new camera finally. Somebody please tell me a camera. And somebody did suggest, when I told you guys to tell me about cameras, to go ask other people what they use if you see something you like. So I went to Duncan, I liked his, and he said it wasn't really much of a thing. So it's like, I went to a lot of people and said, actually, you know, as you suggested, just go to people that you like their stuff and ask, hey man, what are you using? Nobody will tell me, so I honestly need somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing. And I'm not going to Best Buy and asking them. That's just like going to Guitar Center or just going to Anderton's or whatever. They're going to sell you whatever they can sell you, and they're not going to know what they're selling. Some will, some won't. I can't say everybody, you know, I can't lump everybody in. I can't say there's somebody at Anderton's or Guitar Center that doesn't know what they're doing, because certainly there are, but the majority of the people are salespeople, and they will call somebody else forward who might know something, but usually you're smarter than. Have you ever went to a Radio Shack? You're always smarter than those people. Radio Shack's sold, and I'm going to close that, by the way, for anybody who hasn't heard. Yeah, that happened this week. Okay, what kind of time's left on here? No time is left on here. So I'm simply going to mark off where we're at. I know, I'm going to stretch these out so there's at least 25 things. I'm glad you're not dead. There's Jimmy Hightower about the Gallagher. And here, what do you do with all the work? How do you make money? That's how I make money, my friend. So I'm marking all that off. And Monday or so I'll get to Derek Hegwood, Hegwood. I don't know if his name was the one I mispronounced. He's got a nice long thing. It's kind of a God question. Oh, it is. He right here. He says Derek Hegwood. It says, yeah, and Hegwood is correct. It says pronounced, and here it is phonetically. H, then the word egg, then wood. Hegwood. It says, since you messed it up last time, LOL. So I knew I would find him. He's going to be the first one up on the next video. So there you go, kids. Scott Grove, Dr. Groovy, Groovy Music Lessons. The band most wanted this time out of many, many bands. I've probably been in 30 bands, not counting the famous artists I've played behind. So, yeah, good things have always come my way. It's a beautiful thing. I've had a blessed life. And blessed how? Just blessed that I took care of myself. I was the one who raised me. All us guys, me and Gary West and Rex Clem and Everett and Brent Boyce, all back in Indy. But Rex and Gary are in Nashville still, have been for many, many, many years, still doing that. And I don't want to be there, so I'm not there. Sick of it. So this is what I like doing for some odd fucking reason, is taking care of you guys. If I pissed some of you off along the way, that's your problem. It's not mine. I'm not doing anything to purposely piss anybody off. I'm not making up things to throw out there to piss people off. It's not my objective. The fact that people argue my opinions, so move along. Call it a day. The world would be a lot better place if you were not confrontational or dumb motherfuckers. Okay? So you guys be groovy. I'll catch you around Monday or so, okay? And I'll, of course, post something from the gig this week, which is in Enoch, Utah, which is half a mile from where the drummer and his wife live. So I'm going to spend the night at their house tomorrow, and then the gig starts at 11 in the morning. I don't wake up till 2 or 3 in the afternoon usually, so that's why I'm spending the night before to get there and basically either put it up like this, and I gotta wash it tomorrow. So anyway, so I'll post something from that gig. I gotta figure out which guitar to take, but catch you later. Okay, bye.